I'll get to it. Oh,
Yeah.
and it did it to me. See, we're live, and I'm still yakking. Welcome, welcome everybody to Longbourn Literary Society's Society Papers Broadcast, episode 62. I'm Zoe Burton, and I'm here with Leenie Brown. Rose Fairbanks may join us, and she may not. She's not sure she's going to be able to make it. But today we're going to talk about the strangest places we've written. But first, Leenie is going to share a quote with us and something that was added to our pin self promo post. And then we're going to talk about our news, which in my case is not going to take long. And then we'll start our attention. And then after we'll start our conversation. And then after that, I got a few things to share with you, and then we'll just say goodbye. So go ahead, Leenie.
All right. Let me see if I can remember how to share.
Oh, wait, I have to do this. I forgot to do this. Give me a sec. I have to make it bigger because, see, I'm sorry. Today I'm a screw up. God, so sorry. Oh, hi, Rose. Share controls. Now you have control. Whew, sorry. Moment of panic. And I'm going to give this to you.
I'm just making sure that it comes up on the screen there so that people can see it when I'm talking, because it's always lags a little behind what we see on our screen and what's really there. Okay. Wait a second. Where am I? What am I doing? See? Not the only one.
Yeah, thank God.
There we go. I need to make that bigger so we can actually see what we're looking at. Okay, so I put together 3 quotes for today. One that I thought would be a little bit more motivational, because that's what we're trying to do with these quotes, and then just a couple that were fun. So the first one is, shout out to all the plants growing through concrete. And I thought that would
feel like today.
Well with what we're going to talk about today, because sometimes you don't get to have the perfect place to do the things that you need or want to do. And you have to just make the best out of your situation. So that was the motivational one. And then a couple of writer ones. You know you're a writer when you have to stop everything you're doing to write down a brilliant plot idea before it disappears. Extremely true. And you know you're a writer when you carry on writing your book in your head while you cook meals and clean the house. Or when you're getting a massage therapy treatment, or you're standing in line at the grocery store, or a lot of times where
anywhere.
Anywhere they can go. And we had one thing that was on our self-promo post. And this is from Dawn. Dawn has a book that is free starting on the 29th. I'm not sure when it's going to not be free any longer. But if it's in KU, it can't be more than 5 days. So it is of Fortune's Reversal. So if you want to click over there and get that one for free, then you can get the link in our self-promo post, which, by the way, I am going to say is going to be the last one that we're doing. It hasn't been really well used, and it's I know the graphics don't look that complex, but if you know me, I can spend hours on them.
Making them perfect.
Yeah, so it didn't seem like it was the best use of our time and space. Yeah. So let's see, it should come back to me. There we go. Okay, so that would be the last one that we have this week. So there won't be one of those next week. There, got everything closed. Then my news. Well, I have been a busy girl this week, very busy. If you notice the show notes at all, there's a lot written in there. I don't know if you can see them when it's on live or not. Maybe, because it would be really good if I could, because then I could maybe remember what I need to tell you.
You should be able to. You should be able to scroll down.
I can, just not on my phone, because, the phone app is annoying sometimes. All right, so here are the things that I have been working on this week. A Scandal in Springtime is now on pre-order. And it's actually published on a couple of places. I don't remember if it was Nook and Apple that came through or if it was just Nook, but a couple of those places I think already have it up. Playster was one of them. I do remember that already has it up because I couldn't do a pre-order on Draft to Digital, which is the aggregator service that I use for all of those other things that aren't Kobo and Kindle, because you need about 10 days out, and I was not ready 10 days out for a pre-order. So that didn't happen there. It will be released on Kindle and in Kobo on Tuesday, June 4th, which happens to be my son's birthday, and he is going to be 18. So we are going out tonight to celebrate his birthday. So
Cool.
both Rose and I are doing birthday celebrations today.
Yeah.
June babies are the best.
Yeah, I was going to say that's close to Zoe's birthday.
Yeah, it is. With the Scandal in Springtime, I have written in the story, Kitty Bennett is writing a story. It's just kind of a fairy tale type story. And there are a couple of little clips in the book itself. And then the whole story, because I needed to know how that story went so that I would have the clips, I wrote it. It's about 6,000 words long, I think. And I am only giving that out to people who are on my mailing list, and people who in the future will sign up to my mailing list. That's the only way you get that. Unless you were a patron and then you've already read it on Patreon. But otherwise, you're not going to get it unless you're on the mailing list. So there's a link to sign up for my mailing list if you haven't already in the show notes. And I'm hoping to have that out to my mailing list on Tuesday when the book is live, or before Tuesday when the book goes live, somewhere in there. And if you sign up after that, it will be part of the welcome sequence of emails that you get once you sign up that have a few other, freebies with them. All right. Then I have been working on getting a Dash of Darcy and Companions Cottage Collection 2 box set ready. That has 6 stories in it. 5 of them are novellas, and the last one is a novel. Not a long novel, but a novel. And that can now be purchased everywhere. And I just uploaded the print version of it, which is 799 pages, I think.
Wow.
In the 6x9 format size, because I couldn't do it any smaller than that because it would have been too big.
Yeah.
So that's been submitted, and I think I think I got a message that it was live already, but I don't remember for sure. But it's I think $22.99 US for 6 books, which is not bad for 6.
That's not bad.
Considering that the lowest, I don't price my books very high. I mean, that selling it for $22.99 is going to give me maybe $3 royalty on it.
Right.
You don't make much of it. There's, not a lot of room to
print. Right.
And each of the books that are in it are at least $7.99 and $8.99, $9.99. So it's quite a bargain to get it at the $22.99 when you think about it and you compare. Yeah. All right, then I'm halfway through. Then the next thing that I've been working on, and I just updated my books currently in Kindle Unlimited page on my blog. I have a link that'll take you there. The first Cottage Collection 1, I took down from all the sites this week. I refreshed the interior files. I had to redo some cover stuff because, well, Amazon. That's the reason, Amazon. And so that took quite a bit of time. It took me like 3 days to get all of those because there's five books in that one. So let's see if I can remember them. It's Finally Mrs. Darcy, Waking to Mr. Darcy, A Very Merry Christmas, Discovering Mr. Darcy, and not an heiress are the 5 books that are in that collection. And all of those are now in Kindle Unlimited. So you can either read them individually and download them one at a time, or you could download the box set and just have 5 books for one download. So, you know, you only get so many downloads at a time, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah.
So instead of having 5 downloads taken by all those books, you could just have one download, and you could still download another 9 books if you wanted, if you're getting ready to go somewhere and need to take some things with you. Okay, Apple Blossoms on my blog will finish this Tuesday, and then next Tuesday, hopefully, I will be starting a new story after that. So on Tuesday, make sure you read the conclusion. There are 4 parts to that. It's a short, sweet Regency romance story. No great heavy plot in it or anything because it's a short story. Thursday's 300 will start a new story this week because the last one just ended last week, and that means that probably by the end of this week, that Loving Lydia won't be on my blog anymore. So it'll either be, you know, the end of this week or the beginning of next week when that gets taken down. So if you haven't read it yet, read it. Otherwise, you'll have to wait. I'm hoping to have Loving Lydia out later this month. My goal was the 18th of June, but I don't know that I'm going to get there because I am behind on reading it and getting it off to the next person who needs to read it before I can get final proofing and all of that done. So we'll see. That'll be my next thing that I'll have to work like crazy on. And I'm not too far into the new, either of the new stories for my blog. So Tuesdays will be Her Secret Bow. And I think I have 3 chapters of that written so far. And I'm just kind of working my way into it and figuring it out as I go, which is the way that I write. And Persuading Miss Mary will start on Thursday. And I've only got 2 chapters of that written so far. And I'm thinking about some things that I need to figure out before I can really go a whole lot further. So hopefully that'll clear itself out of my mind soon so that I can get a little bit more written. But I couldn't really write a lot anyway because I was getting books ready and I just didn't have time. And this Tuesday, I will have an Austin Authors Post, which will have an excerpt from A Scandal in Springtime in it. And I am talking about creating tension in a story. So that might be interesting for those who would like to know a little bit more about story structure and things that you need in stories and things like that. And I think that's it. I hope that's it.
Just a few things, you know.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah, I know. I knew it was a lot this week.
I think I missed where you came up with the title for the Mary story, so I like that. Persuading Miss Mary.
Yeah.
Very perfect.
Yeah.
For them.
Awesome. That is perfect. I can't wait to see where you go with that story.
Me either.
I'm
Zoe, do you
looking
want to go
forward.
next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
A lot of you probably know that I overdid it last Monday on Memorial Day. It's easy to do, especially when you are sedentary as much as I am. And I had to move a big pile of leaves that was mixed with dog poop because Jasper decided to do his business in the leaf pile over the winter. So instead of cleaning all the leaves up in the fall, which I swear to you, I will never make this mistake again. Never. Never. It's just easier to get them when they're fresh than to leave them all winter long and then try to scrape them up 6 months later. So I had to take it's like a manure fork and shovel, these big, and they're wet and they're heavy. It was like 6 feet around and like a foot deep, like, you know, they get how the leaves get. And then I had to clean some out of a flower bed. And oh my gosh, and drag them back to the backyard and dump them between the fence and the empty shed. Because that's where the old people used to have this place dumped them. And I thought, oh, perfect. Because I'm not going to, Ohio passed a law where you can't open burn.
In the whole state?
The whole state. The wettest time of the year. And they decide that we can't open burn until after June 30th. But, you know, that's the government for you. So I have a pile of leaves, or, well, there's no leaves. There's probably some leaves in it, but there's branches and stuff that fell out of the trees over the winter, and stuff that I cut out of other things because I did some trimming. Well, anyhow, I could burn it, but I can't burn it till the end of June. So yeah. Anyway, I did all that hauling things around, and it hurt, and I pulled muscles, you know, in my back, and it's not been fun. Then I missed a couple doses of Aleve, and oh my gosh, yeah, no. So anyway, I did get some writing done. I did write through my tiredness and my aggravation and my pain. So I did get some writing done. I got 1,000 words or so on the race story that posted yesterday, and then I got some on the news story, which I don't have a title for. I'm still calling it the Peggy Bunny, but the title on the blog is Mrs. Bennett over here, or what Mrs. Bennett heard, or something like that. But that's not going to be the title, like the title. But I did get some on both of those stories, not as much as I wanted. And I did actually get some things clicked in my head, some serious plotting done, but I still need to pick my friends' brains a little bit, because I've made progress, but I'm not where I'm, you know, but at least I know I'm going to go back and write something else, and then I'm going to rearrange what I have, basically. So anyway, I had an Austin Authors post this past Monday. It was about fishing and boating in the Regency, which is apparently not a popular topic with Austin Authors readers, but it was a fun post to do. And there's a picture of boats on Pymatuning Lake, and of course my purple wrapped rear view, or my purple wrapped side mirror is there. It's I smashed the first month I lived here. I cracked my side mirror on the garage door, because that garage, I mean, it gives you this much space on either side, and I need like this much space. So yeah, it all fell apart, and now it's held together with purple duct tape. So you can see that in there. So, you know, if you want to see my rear view mirror, that's how everybody knows me too. The girls at RWA, they're like, well, the one time I took my brother's truck, they're like, I didn't see the purple duct tape, so I didn't know if you were here.
That's funny.
I hit my garage.
Did you? I've done all kinds of things before. I'm surprised it hasn't come down yet.
Yeah.
Like there's a big chunk taken out of it. Big scrape down the side of the truck.
And I had the babysitter with me, so she teased me about that the rest of the time we lived there. And the first thing out of my mouth was like, don't tell Dad. Because I had the kids too. I was like, don't tell Daddy. I told him. I did tell him right away. But, you know, there's times where you have to, you know, present it in the right way versus how a kid might present it, you know. I thought
my brother would never find out. And then he came, because, I mean, not like my brother, you know, has a whole lot of power over me or anything, but he will tease unmercifully and make things, he'll say things that, quite frankly, are a little mean, right? So I thought, he may never come over here again, and he may never know, right? No. And of course, the first thing he notices is, what'd you do to your garage? Can you just remember and keep quiet? So I had to tell him what I did, because I thought I'd be smart, because when you turn the wheel too hard, when you're in 4-wheel drive in the winter, it kind of, you know, makes these weird noises and grabs and stuff. So I thought, well, you know, there's some clearance. I'll just go out diagonal. No. That's how I scrape. I got so far, and then it was like, no, we're not going to fit. So I've got this big hunk taken out of my garage door. Anyway, or the frame of the garage door. Anyway, I have not ordered more print books yet. It'll either be this month or it'll be July. It just depends. I told them last night, it just depends. Because you know what, I did money. I always get funny when I've done the money. Okay, doesn't matter how much I earned, I get cranky when I have to deal with the money. So now I'm like, okay, well, Maybe. We might wait till next month. It just depends. So that's basically that's all my news. Seriously, that's it. It's like the weakest. That's the weakest thing in the world. But there you go. That's my news. So I'm gonna click it over to Rose.
I'm sure I think I wrote less this week.
That's okay. I made up for you.
I just, remember the other week when she didn't write at all? I mean,
I didn't write much. But I did a lot of
she
other
just
stuff.
published like 3 books in a row or something like that. But that Leenie, she's just so lazy that week.
I know. That was crazy.
No, I did write a little bit on my Scottish wallflower story, and I didn't write on Blue Stocking Club because I'm just trying to think it through. I mentioned last week that I'm not sure if it's really coming fast enough, and sometimes you just can't force it. I've got to work on the Scottish wallflowers because there is a deadline, and I'm not having a problem, writing wise. I just have a problem having enough peace and quiet in my house and a brain that will function at the time that it's, quiet.
Yeah.
By the time the kids go to bed, I'm, sometimes the brain's not willing to work too much. But, I think
got that
we're going to.
problem, and I don't even have MS.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a problem before too. So
Yeah.
it's just I can pull it out a little bit more now is what
Yes.
it is. So I'm hoping that I'm turning a corner with that. So basically I am putting more emphasis on that one. So I don't know that I can really what's left over that I can focus on with the Blue Stocking Club if it's not really coming easily. I basically my second story needs to be something that's flowing easy. Otherwise it'll just take me forever and I'll get aggravated and stuff. So I mentioned that last week. I don't have a new bunny that's for sure shouting at me, but I did actually get some ideas this week that I need to think about, I need to talk to Leenie and Zoe about. You guys are the ones I go to. So it's been a hectic week. It was a hectic week. And my daughter had a birthday party this morning, this afternoon. So I got in, changed my clothes real fast, dashed down here, basically was how it went. But we had fun. And it was nice weather out. It looked like it might rain for a little bit. This morning they were calling for a little bit of rain, but it didn't end up happening. And it wasn't as hot as it was earlier. Like all last week was 100 degrees, and that just the heat really takes out of me. If you leave, I try to leave to get an errand done in the morning or something, and that will exhaust me because there's a difference between 60 or 70 and 80, 90 degrees at 9 a.m.
Yes.
And the air conditioning has not stopped running at all.
Wow.
In weeks. And it'll get like close to the limit overnight, but then by 11, 12 o'clock, it's over. The thermostat's saying it's 75 or something. And I'm like, I'm so hot. So I have to lay on like ice packs a couple times a day. I'm laying underneath fans still. So,
do you have air conditioning?
I do. Yeah. It's just, it doesn't retain it very well.
Oh.
And it's not that it's so terribly hot. It's just, with the MS, the heat can flare up some symptoms and stuff.
When do you hit menopause, darling?
When do I? Oh, wait. Till I. Yeah.
Okay, multiply that by 2.
I know. I have had hot flashes before. When to get pregnant with Teddy, I had to go on Clomid to make myself ovulate, and hot flashes is a possible symptom. And I did have it. I lived in Alaska. It was the winter. I was driving with the AC blasted, my window down, and it was about -30 outside. And I was going, 50 miles an hour or something down the highway, snow tires. So, didn't have to worry about too much snow. And it, they didn't really have ice. It was just snow. So, you had to slow down a little bit, but not too much. It wasn't currently snowing. It's just a state of snow. That's just the road at that point. So anyway, yeah, I was driving my husband home from work and it hit me. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm so hot." So I'm really, I'm not looking forward to that again.
Yeah.
But I did get pregnant and I did have Teddy. So that works out. So that's my news this week. I didn't have a lot of time for the author gig this week. So, but it'll come back around eventually. Everything, there's a season, right? So
Right.
And I've got the rest of my life with all of this. That's what I have to think about sometimes. I'm just like, I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life, and there's no rush to figure everything out now. So
Awesome. All right. Well, our topic today is the strangest place we've ever written, and I know Leenie doesn't think that she really has any places really strange
because they're normal to me.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and start because I don't know that I do. I've written on the potty. I've written in the kitchen. I have written outside on the bistro table, and I've written on the porch swing. I had another place too, and I can't remember what it was. You might have to come back to me. But the laundromat. I've written at the laundromat on my tablet, and that's generally the only time I write on my tablet. And yes, you can have the picture in your head, me on the potty with the laptop, because that's how it happened.
I think I've got one to add to your list that I didn't hear on there. Didn't you write at a festival one year? You had a notebook with you?
Yes. Yes. And I've written at a festival. Mm-hmm. I did last year. I wrote at a festival, and I have written at when I was the last few years I was a teacher. I was a teacher at an online school, and we had like twice yearly meetings, a beginning of the year meeting. I think they only do the beginning of the year meeting now, but back then we had 3 or 4 meetings a year, like in Columbus or wherever. And this particular year, we had 2 meetings at Kalahari in Sandusky. But obviously we weren't on the water slide side the whole time. They have a convention center connected to it. And so we were I don't even remember what they were talking about. Okay. And I'm writing, I think it was my first or second. No, it was my second or third book that I wrote. And it hit me right in the middle of this woman's presentation. And I've got my back to her with my notebook, and it was a legal pad. And I'm like, and all the teachers at my table looking at me like, oh my gosh. And it's just coming out. And I flip the page and I keep writing. So, yeah. But I wrote at a festival. I took a notebook with me, and I think I used that for a blog post. I don't think I published, but still writing. Yeah. So that's and nobody came around, so nobody really noticed. But hey, so that's me. But I confess I'll do almost anything on the potty. If I gotta have, I've been known to eat. So to have my laptop is nothing. Seriously, if I gotta go and my food is hot, it's going with me. So who wants to go next? Can you follow that?
Oh, that's great. Do you want to go, Rose, or do you want me to? I can. I don't care.
You're already talking, so you do it.
All right.
I will let myself rest a little bit. I've already had a long day.
Sue said in the comments that she was at bingo and wrote a whole chapter on the back of her bingo cards. So that's a nice, unusual place. I have never written at bingo. I've never been to bingo, so I've been to bingo.
It was fun. I just don't have the money to go all the time, and I'm not gonna go when I don't know anybody. So
I've only done it at school, and I've never won around a bingo. I remember
I don't think I've ever
in middle
won.
school or something. I don't know. Like in one of the grades, it was like a big deal. I was like, I've never won.
Poor thing.
Now I don't have to win. I can write stories during bingo.
Right.
I'll have to remember that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see. I don't think any of my places are that unusual because, I mean, I would correct papers in these places as well as write. So, I've been doing this for 20 some years. They're just normal for me. Yeah, my husband says I'm nomadic. I'm a nomadic writer because I'll be at my desk and I'll be at my table and I'll be in a chair and then I'll be on the couch. I've been known to write in the laundry room while waiting for the dryer to get done so that I could fold the laundry because I didn't want to walk up and down the stairs. Checking on it so many times. So I just stood, there's a chest freezer in there, and put the laptop on the chest freezer and did my typing while I was waiting. We have, in the house that we're in, there's a little pull-out breadboard above one of the drawers in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And it's just the perfect size to fit my laptop on. And my dining table is a taller table, so it has the taller chairs, and the chair is just the right size to fit there. So while I'm cooking, I've used that as my desk. It's right next to the sink, and you can still see the stove and everything because it's a teeny tiny kitchen. Or I've taken a little TV tray type thing out there to the kitchen and worked there. I've written outside just because I wanted to. When I was first starting, I was still teaching and I had a notebook, and I would take that with me and write when I was at school if I didn't have other things to do, or if it was a lunch hour where I actually didn't have any duties to do, which were few and far between. Yeah, there may have been a few things that were jotted down, during staff meetings when they got boring. Yeah, because not everything at staff meeting is about you or something that you need to know. So, if the elementary teachers are talking about something and I'm in the junior high, I don't really need to know what they figure out what they're going to do with recess, right? So you can work there. I have pulled out Google Docs on my phone or my tablet at church during a sermon and jotted down an idea that I had gotten because of something that had gone on, said in the message. I have written, I don't know if I've written during business meetings at church, but I know I've looked things up while at a big business meeting at church because, again, things get boring and you need something to do. I used to correct papers there too. I've corrected papers during school concerts before too, but I've never written during a school concert. And the movie theater.
Really? How did you write the movie theater?
A movie had just started, and the opening scene sparked a good idea, which I haven't used yet, but I didn't want to lose the idea. So I dug in my purse and got this tiny little notepad of paper out that, you just have in there in case you need to leave a note somewhere, and scratched out with a pencil because I couldn't see. I wasn't going to turn on my phone light or anything because that's against the rules. So I was writing in the dark on my piece of paper.
So it's like, how do you see what you're doing?
Well,
you get home and like, what did I say?
It's very messy. Very messy. My husband's like, you are not writing right now, are you? Yeah. Because I can't take you anywhere. Because, I'll be out for supper. So, that would be a good idea. And, pop out the phone and, jot down an idea. It's not really writing a whole story or anything, but, when it strikes you, you got to record it or you might forget it.
True.
I think that's probably about it. I mean, I've used my tablet to write on at places. I've, gone out for supper and sat at a table and written just because I didn't have anyone else there, so I had to talk to someone. But I think that's about it. I'm not.
Oh, that movie theater is a strange thing.
Yeah.
I know you were right because it didn't seem strange, but I'm telling you, that movie theater, that was odd.
That just seemed normal to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now Rose is going to have some stories for us.
Yeah. So I think like Leanie, I don't write in my office or at my desk a whole lot of the time. I didn't really have a desk or an office for most of the time.
Yeah, I don't really
When I
have any.
first started writing, everything was on notebook by hand. And so I would take it with me everywhere and play with the kids on the floor, and they're occupied for a little bit, and I come up with something. Take it to the playground, things like that. And then eventually I moved to an iPad mini and I could do the same sort of thing. Um, I think what sticks out in my head as the most strange is one time when we were living in West Virginia, we drove back to our home area and it takes about 5 hours. And we were coming back at night. So it was dark everywhere and we were trying to get the kids to go to sleep. So I couldn't have the lights on in the car. And I didn't bring my computer, but I had my iPad mini, but it died. Now, I think the keyboard, like the keyboard attachment itself died. Um, and it was even though it was a mini, it was too big for me to like balance and hold and use the internal software keyboard on it. So I ended up typing on my phone with my thumbs. I can't remember what book that was. It might have been Sufficient Encouragement, but I typed most of a chapter out with my thumbs in, 9 o'clock at night on this drive. After that, I was like, I definitely need to bring the computer every time.
Yeah.
So I've done it at a couple kid activities too, like karate and gymnastics. I don't typically be able to get a whole lot done or as much done, especially their classes, even though they're only 2.5 years apart, they're never in the same age group. I think
Mhm.
maybe once they get older, they might be, but as of right now, they tend to be divided. So it's like one person's in class and the other one needs supervision. And usually it's I can watch during Annie's class, but then she'll be upset if I'm not actually watching because Teddy doesn't need as much supervision, or he might be trying to talk a whole lot, and then it's hard to concentrate. Yeah, versus Annie, I mean, a lot of times I have to like visual watching, not just like
Right.
yeah. Tell me about the Titanic again for the 15th time today.
Yes.
No, it's like, where'd you go? What are you touching? Come over here. Leave them alone. um, yeah. So poor thing. Like I feel bad because I feel like she's starting to get a complex that all mom does is criticize. So I have to go out of my way to try to find more positive ways
Right.
to talk to her, I guess. But with ADHD and not always wanting to take her medicine, it's difficult sometimes. So let's see, where else have I written? I think like Leanie, it feels a little normal to me. I definitely, for a lot of times, I would take the computer and go to Panera or Barnes and Noble or something, and my husband or a babysitter would be watching the kids. So,
I would love to go places, but we have McDonald's and we have the library.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes if I'm not trying to save it to Google Docs or to OneDrive, I can just save it to the computer itself. And then I don't even need Wi-Fi. But like outside sounds fun, but then there can be a lot of glare issues. And,
Mhm.
a laptop's kind of big and bulky, and
Right.
you're only going to be comfortable so long with it, like on your lap or crouching over. And there's, I've tried lots of different places. Not all of them are very comfortable.
Leenie and I have a solution for the glare. Wait, let me click over here because Leenie and I both we're in this group, writers group, and somebody posted a picture of what she does, and she takes this foldable storage box and she opens it up,
Mhm.
and she puts it on her table, and then you take the lid and you can slide that lid back and forth to
Oh,
cover. You stick your laptop in there. So here I was measuring my laptop, and I found
that's
it was like
cool.
$15 or $16 for this box, and it came to like my post office box. I mean, it folded up that
Uh-huh.
small. Well, I guess maybe I had to have the yellow card, but it came. It was.
Mm.
I haven't tried it yet. but everything is set up because there's a jungle out there and it has to be round. I have to spray weed killer, but
Yeah.
I am going to use it. But there's an idea, and my laptop's only good for an hour without a charger anyway. So
yeah, mine dies real fast. Oh, I see Ellen has a comment that she spends a lot of time waiting in doctor's offices, writing and reading. And yep, I've done that too, as both.
yep.
With the reader and the writer. And trying to think when
I wrote when I hurt my hip, which I still don't know what I did to it. I wrote in bed, like I set everything up so that I could write in bed because, just laying there is not an option.
Yeah.
It's not too long.
Yeah, I write in bed a lot. Since the MS, I've been trying to tell myself to like just lay there sometimes. It's taken a couple months to get used to that.
Yeah. Yes. And even if I'm just sitting there waiting for, because I have to go to osteotherapy, osteopath, physiotherapy, and massage therapy, those three just help keep my hips and my neck and everything kind of from not hurting too much. I will be creating stories in my head or trying to work out different details in my head. And there was one time I was in a store, and sometimes the characters have conversations with me in my mind. And I almost told Darcy to be quiet out loud. Which, I caught myself before I did, so I didn't look like a complete crazy person. But yeah, I have done that.
Zoe, did you have something else to add when we were talking about doctor's offices, maybe?
I used to do, well, I didn't write when my mom was alive. But I did a lot of reading. But I have been known now that, once I started writing, when I had insurance and I was going to the doctor, I've been known to do writing, on paper with paper and pen, like waiting to get my eyes checked. Or I think I may have gone to a doctor's appointment or two after I started writing and took, because I remember taking books and I think I dropped them on the desk, the table in the doctor's office.
Yeah. So I've gotten a lot of use lately out of the Notes app on my phone. And then I did have Google Drive for a little bit, Google Docs, that sort of thing, but it takes up a lot of extra space. And now that I'm not on the go quite as much, I took that off. So I've been doing it on the Notes sometimes when I get ideas. But it took me a long time to get used to that because that's an app that it comes with. So it's not like adding anything. I don't know what it's called, the RAM or whatever phones work on. But I would write on like receipts sometimes because I actually had a friend. Yeah, napkin. I had a friend in the car today, and I had my bullet journal in the front seat, and I was moving it. And she's like, "Oh, here's your writing notebook." I'm like, "Oh, actually, it's just my bullet journal, like my planner." She's like, "Oh, okay," because I know some writers who like will take a notebook so they can write everywhere they get an idea. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not typically that much of a writer. Like if I get an idea and I have to stop and write, it's not just like a sentence, like the perfect sentence that comes to me, and I'm like." I love that imagery. I better capture it down now. It's like a whole scene that is in my head. The characters are talking, they are doing, and I have to get it out, or I'm never going to be able to recapture it, or I'm just going to get really grumpy and angry. And I need to let them out. I need to let them play. They need to come out, sort of thing. So I thought that was interesting that we were talking about that today because she made that comment. I'm like, yep, I know exactly what she's talking about. Lots of people are in that boat with writers. I had something else to say. Now I forgot. Oh, Leenie, you were talking about you'll be working on stories and stuff while doing things. And yeah, sometimes if people are talking, even it will make me think of something and I kind of zone out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wait, I've just been with Darcy and Lizzie or somebody else for the last 10 minutes and they were talking. Oops. And I've caught myself even like with my husband sometimes, and he doesn't talk a whole lot either. That's really bad. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? You gave me a really great idea and I kind of zoned out. And so yeah, and it's definitely gotten worse with all the MS brain fog issues. Oh, Leenie.
I know, right?
I know, and we can't tell anyone that one.
I'll
There are
just
some
say I've
times
been
when
there too.
there are times when it's just embarrassing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's always something going through my mind. Like I told you the last time that I got really tired and there was like nothing that was going through my brain. And I, looked at my husband and I'm like, is this what normal people like? There's no
Yeah.
stories in my brain right now. He's like, yeah, it's pretty normal.
It's so crazy to think about. Like,
Yeah.
even like with the MS, I feel like my mind can't multitask remotely anymore, really.
Mm.
And so, you've seen a meme where, woman's got like 5,000 internet tabs going on at once in her
Mhm.
head. Yeah, well, there's times where there's only one tab or 0 tabs in my head. And I'm like, what is this? It feels
Yeah.
so weird. I
It
don't like
is. No, it's a little scary.
bring it back.
It's so
Oh,
quiet in there.
yeah. Don't leave me alone with myself.
Yeah.
I get thoughts in my head, lots and lots of thoughts, but very few of them are stories. Like I have to sit
Mm.
down and get the story out. Though sometimes to put myself to sleep, I can make stories. But usually what's going through my head is just random things that are just bouncing around. If you ever talk to me, you'll see, like ask Rose, I can change subject like this.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
See, that works for me because I feel like I'm the same way a lot. So I'm like, okay, yeah. And then that I can go back to the thing that was talked about like
Yes.
five
10 minutes
subjects
ago.
ago. Yeah. And other people are like, what?
We start
So
that one again.
chat rooms, I'm good, Well, maybe not anymore, but I used to be really good. And I could have like a bunch of different conversations with people.
Yeah.
Um, well, hey, I kind of had like an adjacent question to this. Like, how often do you sit down to write in a designated area at a designated time? And this is my writing time, and nothing comes out. You can't get it to come, or you have to
Lots.
focus a little bit, think about it a little bit, and you're like, please, like, we need to go, we need to start, and no one's showing up to talk to you. Yeah, I
Every
feel like that definitely happens a lot.
every time I start a new story, and I may go through it for weeks until I figure out the story, and by then I'm tearing my hair out going, this should have been halfway done. But yeah, I'm
For
currently
me,
going through that.
it definitely happens more to me when I try to focus on other things more
Mhm.
and create some kind of like life balance, even like, hey, I need to spend more time just focusing on my kids instead of trying to multitask with them or my husband or one story, that sort of thing. So I've basically been telling these ideas, be quiet, it's not your turn, it's not your turn, it's not your turn. And then finally I'm like, okay, I'm ready for you. And they're like, no, they get sassy with me. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
that's not, come on, we got to work out here.
I know.
Cooperate.
Yeah, I know. I sit down and I'll be like, I don't know what to write, but then I just pick something and go
Mm.
with it. And
Yeah, when
it's
I go ahead.
something that you kind of have to, that I've had to develop, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can train it. So I just kind of imagine a literal gun to my head. Like, I have to write now. And I might not even like the words when I'm writing them or feel like they're going to be good.
Mhm.
And every once in a while I
Mhm.
do have to totally scrap them and everything. But
Yeah.
a lot of times once I start that, and I'll usually have a timer where I'm like, okay, just a couple minutes. This is how long I said I would write today, so I'm going to write it. There's no excuse here. And usually a lot of times I want to keep going at the end. So that's helpful. Yeah, I guess they just want to know that I definitely want them there or something.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
promise. Yeah, I sound like a crazy person.
You're a writer.
Yeah, it's not that it's different personalities. They're definitely not me or anything. It's not like
Right.
they interact with the world through me. They're just living things in my head.
And we know they're imaginary. We do know that. It's not like
yes.
to an extent. I mean, they're still our friends.
Yes.
Well, it's
but
the
we
same
know
when
they're
I
imaginary.
read. I was reading a book last night to unwind after my long trip because I hurt and it took a while for the Aleve to kick in. And yeah, I mean, I was right there with those characters.
Yeah.
The guy did something stupid. I was like, "You're so stupid." Like, as if me saying something was going to change anything about this book.
Yeah.
I know. I do that same thing though. There's a lot of times that I'll be reading and something stupid will happen and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I have to close the book and put it away because I don't want to read stupid.
It wasn't an unenjoyable stupid. If it prolonged things, like wasn't fixed quickly, then yeah, I would have had to give up on the story. But I could tell it was the pacing would be good, I guess. So I was willing to continue. But yeah, I definitely, my husband was just there like, who are you talking to? What are you like? He'll do that way when he's watching TV though, like, and how many people yell at sports and everything. Right? Like they can't
Zoe's
hear
hand is
you.
in the air.
I can't hear you. I remember watching the show. It was kind of set in the 70s with Fred Savage.
Wonder
Yeah.
Years.
Wonder Years, yes. Okay, so the very
I
last
didn't even watch it and I knew that. That's
I watched
amazing.
it. I watched it.
Oh, that's a great example of MS memory issue there. So, the very last episode, Kevin and Winnie don't get together, and I was just so upset. I actually threw a pillow at the TV. I don't think it actually reached the TV, but I directed it towards the TV. And my family just teased me about that forever. So,
That's funny.
never mind the fact that how crazy my brothers were about sports. But
Right.
Right.
yeah, so they're in our heads and they're very difficult to ignore sometimes, and we've got to let them out anywhere.
Yes.
I once I get into the story and I'm writing is flowing real well, then I don't even want to stop to eat or sleep or
Yeah.
stretch,
Yeah.
which I need to do.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. Been there. Well, and sometimes I get ideas in these other places like Panera and
Mhm.
Starbucks. Those are great people watching spots
Mhm.
where it's like, no, I'm not typing about you.
Not
Typing about my
specifically.
book, The Man Who Wore a Red Shirt. He walked in with an air of owning the place.
That
It
was
wasn't based on you at all.
that was an assignment actually that I took a correspondence writing course, and one of the assignments was to watch people, like just go to a mall and with your notebook, you just write down things that you see. What do they do? What are they wearing? How does their hair look? Just to get ideas of what people are really like.
Mhm.
Yeah. So people
I had
watching
that.
is a thing.
I had that too. I had a communications class where we had to do that, except I was in the middle of making flower arrangements for my wedding. So
Mm.
I brought it all with me and I was just at the mall on this bench making bouquets and stuff. And people were stopping to look at me instead.
Oh, that's funny.
So I told the professor, I'm like, I didn't really like connect. I was just like trying to multitask. So my experiences were a little different from most other people. But he didn't fail me or anything.
That's funny.
But yeah. So I've definitely enjoyed people watching for a while, which is nice to be adjacent, although it can be distracting then. I'm like, no, I don't need to be thinking about the random stranger's life and their backstory. I need to focus on this story.
Right.
Here's a question. When you're in a strange place, maybe you're at Panera and you're writing, or you're at the pool and the kids are playing, whatever. Do you get a lot done, or you, like, for example, I go to the laundromat a couple times a year because I have to wash comforters at the laundromat because my washer's not big enough. But I'm only good for 500 or 600 words at the laundromat. There's just, even if there's few people around, there's people going in and out of the parking lot because the post office is next door, and there's people going by on the street, and there's great big windows. So I get distracted. Then I've got to watch the washer because, the motion, you know, and you got to watch the dryer because, you know, the motion. So, I mean, is it productive when you're writing in strange places, or are you is it just little spurts, little sprints?
I can be really productive. For a while, sorry, I'm tangled in my hair. For a couple of years, it was the only way I was getting to write was on the weekends when Doug was home, when my husband was home to watch the kids, and I would go to a Barnes and Noble or a Panera, and I would make myself write a chapter. And now sometimes it would take a couple hours to get that done. I've definitely gotten faster at it since I started doing sprinting. But yeah, and it might take me a while to settle down. I might be really distracted at first, but then eventually I can be like, okay, let's focus, and it just becomes kind of white noise because I'm not responsible for any of the people there. Now, if I am, if it is like a kid thing, you know, where I'm at the pool with the kids, and I did try that one time. I forgot about that last summer. I think I was just rereading something for proofing. That's what it was.
Okay.
And that didn't work out, by the way. I had to get in the pool with them.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, then it's really difficult to get a whole lot done. But if I'm thinking about it as this is 500 words I would have been able to get done without multitasking here, then that's nice. But no, I'm probably not going to get 1,000 or 3,000 words done during a karate practice, even if we're there for a couple hours, because I really do need to pay somewhat attention to these other people. But if I'm at something else and I'm not responsible for anyone but me, I'm probably going to try to make the most of it, and I can kind of tune them out. Or I might bring headphones and listen to my music. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't listen to the music.
That's kind of one of those routine things that I started a while ago. I can start to tune out the music, and that's a lot better for me.
It does cause me problems that I do have to have quiet to focus, to get my brain into gear.
Mm.
I know it's, you know, I'm not the only one. I know that. I know there's other people that also
that way now. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I also, I mean, I sleep with a fan on all the time. If my fan died, I would never sleep again because I can hear all the. Sorry, they're wondering if I'm not ADHD. No, I've always been a daydreamer. Always. I got accused of that all the time in school for as long as I can remember. She's always daydreaming. It didn't matter that I got good grades. I'm daydreaming, and that's wrong. So my brain just goes here and goes there, and maybe that's why I'm the way I am. Like I just kind of, whatever, just flit around. If I was a social butterfly, seriously, if I was not such an introvert, I would be like the perfect social butterfly because I'd be flitting here and flitting there and everywhere. That's me.
I think it definitely feels like a reward sometimes to make myself focus on something, and
oh God, I'd love to. Oh my gosh,
to not be responsible for anyone else in the room or all the other noises around me. I'm like, I can tune this crap. If I can tune out a whiny toddler or something, that I can tune out patrons next to me in a store. So that's nice. The downside to this though is like if I am in another place like say nature or something, then I'm sure the romantic authors and poets would be disappointed in me because I am not paying attention to the wondrous beauty around me, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right. 10 pages of dialogue with no paying attention of flowers and birds and stuff. That's just my style as a writer. So it's, like my idea is like, oh yeah, and I can get some outside time in, but then I'm not really paying attention to it and I'm not really in the moment. So there's definitely a downside to that ability, I guess.
Still, I'd like to be able to do it more often. I have found seriously that I have to shut Facebook off, totally off. As much as I like that connection, you know, I'm nosy and I want to know what's going on, and I'm afraid of missing out. Okay. And sometimes I have to shut you guys off, just because it's the only way something's going to get done.
Yeah.
But I rebel at the idea of getting like a little Chromebook or something with no internet, or getting one of those programs on my computer that keeps me off the internet while I'm writing. I rebel at that because when I want to be on the internet, I want to be on the internet. So, yeah.
Yeah. I only have Facebook open when I'm supposed to be on Facebook, or
me too.
Mostly.
I do go between sprints. I'll go for like 10 minutes. I'll set the timer in 10 minutes, and then I have to get off.
And I don't have notifications alerted on my computer either, so it's not letting me know. I accidentally clicked on something, and now I'm getting like HGTV notifications. I need to figure out how to turn it off, because I like HGTV and I like watching the shows, but I don't want notifications every couple of minutes on the computer, or especially every time I log in.
Every website you go to nowadays, once you give them permission for notifications, I'm like, oh heck no, click.
Yeah. So I must have accidentally clicked yes, apparently, and so I'm like, I need to turn that back off, because a lot of times when I'm getting on the computer, it's specifically just for, you know, writing and chatting with you guys, and then I will open up a special tab when I am like allowed, I guess. Or, you know, I mean, I'm not saying I won't get too distracted and be like procrastinating, but when I'm telling myself, okay, I'm writing time, I don't usually have Facebook open. So.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
And I usually turn on my music, because my mind knows that when that music turns on, it's time to focus. So
it doesn't get irritating though after it's been on a while, because I have tried music.
No,
but I get irritated with I get irritated with the TV. I get irritated. I mean, that's why I don't have a lot. I'm used to silence, maybe. I don't know, but I get irritated after a while of hearing music.
Sometimes I'm like, I want to change to, because I've got Pandora, so I can go from, you know, country to old country to classic to Disney show too.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem, is that I tried to do music without words, which meant classical music, which irritates me to begin with.
I can't do classical. I can't do anything with words. It has to be instrumental, but it's usually like nothing that ever had any words, and it's not. It's I don't know, spa music, relaxation music type thing. It's got a slower beat to it. Like there's something with the beats to the music and how it affects your brain and the way that you're thinking and all of that. And it's, you know.
Yeah, people make like YouTube channels for it where there's just like 10 hours of it and stuff. I listened to the Pride and Prejudice soundtrack a lot for the 2005 movie. Listen to that. And then a lot of times it'll go into like other romantic drama songs or something. So I listen to that.
I'll listen to the Two Cellos sometimes, or Simply Three is another group. They do instrumental covers of songs. So sometimes that can get distracting just because I might know some of the words. But most of them I don't, because I don't listen to a lot of the new music that isn't country. So it's fairly safe, but it's just kind of that soft. And I have it really low. I don't have it loud. If I need to, like if I really need to concentrate and I can't seem to find that place, I will put on the headphones so that all I can hear is the music, and then that after about 5 minutes usually pulls my brain in. But I used to use it when I was in classroom teaching too. I'd turn on the concentration music for when they were supposed to be working very low. And those who didn't want to, they could have their own headphones so that they wouldn't have to hear it and that sort of thing. But yeah, it really did keep the classroom calm, which was nice.
Which is the goal.
That was not a calm class. Most grade 9s aren't.
Yeah.
I need to do that with my students then.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah,
anything.
My
Try.
current student doesn't really appreciate it. So
He has experience with it, previous experience.
yeah. Yep.
Well, does anybody else have anything else to add?
Is there some place you would like to write, but you haven't done it yet?
Panera? What's another place? Starbucks? I would love to write at Starbucks, but that means a 40-minute drive for either one of those. So,
confession, I'm not a big fan of Starbucks. This is
really?
what I like. I like the store-bought frappe things,
Yeah.
but I'm not as big of a fan of, definitely not of their hot drinks. I do like the frozen things, but they're so expensive. Yeah, I feel like they're not that amazing. Maybe I don't go enough. I don't drink coffee, like a whole lot of coffee, so maybe that's it. I don't have a very...
The only coffee I drink is mocha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is cold mocha, basically, but it's got a lot of milk and some chocolate flavor in it.
Yeah,
And
Kyle likes that.
by the way, this thing costs $2.99, which is like the price of a novella. I'm just saying. I used to have an ad, I think, where I said that, where it's like, I could have bought a book.
Exactly.
Just saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go to, coffee shops or anything because I don't drink any of that. I can go there and buy a bottle of water. How exciting is that?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's, I would like to, there are a couple of museums that have nice grounds. They're house museums that I would like to, be able to go and sit near or near the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
And write. I'd love to go to England and write at some of those places.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But I would, when you first asked it though, I was like, yeah, in an office in my house would be really nice with doors. I'll have one of those.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking I'd like to try the library again. I haven't tried writing at the library since college, where I remember writing one chapter of a story in the library, but I got so hung up in like, I don't have a complete character outline, so I can't be writing a story. But now I'm like, someplace where they're required to be quiet. That's nice, but not at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not required at my library.
Quiet in my experience.
Oh, really?
It's not really quiet. At least not libraries around here. But this is Andover, and we pretty much do what we like in Andover.
True. Okay. Well, my college was a very quiet Mennonite college.
My college had a very quiet library. It's just the library.
Yeah. So maybe I'm skewed. Maybe it's just college library.
My college did too, and I worked there. And made people be quiet.
We need you. We need you here.
But our library here in Lower Sackville, you don't have to be quiet in the library because it's just one floor.
Yeah.
It's not like levels. So the kids area and the adult area are all kind of in the same place. And there's people asking questions and there's people on the computers and there's a little hangout area for, like where the teens kind of sit and talk and have their books and things. But then they have a room where some of the more referencey type things are that you can't check out. They're in that room, and that's a quiet room. So when you're in there, everybody's whispering. Now there's a door that's open, so the sound filters in, but there's a quiet place.
This library is all one. It's one story, but it's all open.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're doing something in the kids area, which is in the back, and you're up around the front. In the stack, maybe you sat on the floor in the middle of the stacks, you can still hear it because it's one great big open. Oh, wow. They do have they used to have computers in there, and now they pulled the computers, they're all in a row out on the floor, and now you can use those for like study rooms. So that would be an option if I absolutely had to have quiet. Well, I'm talking and you're looking at Leenie, sorry. But so that would be an option. I don't know. I did buy purple foam earplugs, and I have been known to use them when I have gone to the library. And I know I've been saying for a month that I got to get out of the house every day, and I haven't done it yet because I have to have my act together, close everything up at night, and I haven't been doing it.
Yeah.
So
We need to like reverse each other here. Like I need to spend more time at the house. You need to spend more time out. So I was just thinking, I was like, it will take me so much energy to be able to get out of the house and then to sit, and it's going to be like on a hard chair, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to be exhausted just from that.
Right.
And then, what does it gain me? So yeah, that's what I was thinking during all that.
And I was thinking, yeah, they frown at pajama pants in the library.
They do,
especially ones with holes in them.
Yes.
Maybe holes in certain areas would be bad. Or you could be like writing material for somebody else.
Could be.
I read a pretty funny romantic comedy yesterday. And at one point I told Doug, I told my husband, I was like, this is so funny. It's so unrealistic, but it's so funny that I didn't care. I mean, it was definitely what works like in a comedy, like in a movie where it's just like, oh my gosh, how much could go wrong? There was a newscaster with a wardrobe malfunction problem.
Oh, lovely.
Because she was at a petting zoo and there was a cute monkey and she has to hold it and things went downhill. So
oh, that's great.
I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, like, what are the chances of that ever happening really in real life? But just comedic gold and great for the story. So, but yeah. So yeah, maybe you could be somebody else's inspiration.
Maybe.
All right. Anything else?
Ellen says she has the ADHD, so she prefers quietness.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I know that I got used to it being quiet after my husband left because he always had the TV on, so there was always something going on. And I don't know if I just got used to it or, I don't know. But I'm just, and it's a problem when you're, it's a problem in all kind of areas.
Well, think about it. You're the oldest kid. You were a teacher, a wife. Yeah. At some point, you've had enough noise.
I've had enough noise. I'm ready for peace and quiet. Yes. So.
A dog owner, you're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a loud dog because Selena was loud. Me and the neighbor were talking. It was always because I always said my dogs bark. It wasn't my dogs. It was Selena. And now that Selena's gone, she's been gone a month. And I'm telling you, it's so quiet in here. It's crazy. But I mean, how many lives have I done now and nobody has barked in the middle?
It's true.
It's true.
Well, Jasper was getting antsy, at least in one of them, right?
Yeah, Jasper he got antsy when we first got on here, and he'll probably get antsy pretty soon. And he's gotten antsy near the ends of some of them. So, but yeah, but he doesn't bark like she does.
I always thought it was him.
Well, once in a while it'll be him, but it's most of it. And the neighbor said you would hear her barking because she'd sit on the second step from the bottom, down at the bottom of the steps. There's a window there. And people would look at my house and there's Jasper up in the window because Selena was taught not to get in the window, apparently. So all you can see is like her eyes, the top of her head. But she'd be barking, sitting on that step, looking out and barking. And he'd be there looking, go see who's she barking at.
Oh. See, I was going to say she was telling him to get down, but I guess not.
I know. He does. He will bark. He doesn't bark as much since she's gone. But so it is a lot quieter, but he will at times, he'll bark at rabbits and birds and the people across the street. Sometimes, and this is how rarely now he barks. We'll be sitting here and I'll be doing something and he'll hear a noise and he'll start with that whoa, 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 huge. And I'm like, and I'm jumping and I'm like peeing my pants. Oh, what's going on? It's just Jasper. And then I get mad. What are you doing? I can feel that. Poor Jasper.
Oh.
Oh my. I'm looking at the whatchamacallit.
The comments.
If it's quiet in my house, something is wrong. Yeah. You know,
Yes.
when I first got Jasper, that's what it was. If it was quiet, I better go look. But
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I am beat.
yeah, we should
Yeah.
probably head
Yeah, we should.
All right. Well, then I will read my little remind everybody of stuff. So before you go, if you have not subscribed to my channel, there's a bell below the video, and you can click that bell icon, and it'll subscribe you to my channel. And then whenever I upload a video or schedule a live video, you will get a post or an email, or you'll get a little notification or an email. And then below that in the show notes, there's links to our websites. There's links to any books or web posts that we've mentioned in the video. So if there's something you heard you'd like to learn more about, then you can probably find a link to it there. So we want to thank you for coming, and we appreciate you taking out time to come and listen to us chat, have fun, and talk about stuff. So till next week, have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.